Hi everyone, welcome. It's just 1 minute to 12, so I just wanted to wait a few more minutes for attendees to come on and enter the virtual room that we have here. So thank you for joining us. It would be fantastic, first and foremost, if you could get to know the space a little bit. If this is your first webinar jam with the Melbourne Innovation Centre, you just get to know your way around the platform. On the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see a chat function. While I can't verbally talk to you, I love to chat to people who are in the chat box so I can engage with them and tailor content specifically to what they need. So if you could take a second, there's a few of you in the room, so throughout the session, if you could introduce yourself, tell me a little bit about your business, what you do, where you're located. It's always great to know where people are located. One of the great things about business is, and one of the most important parts of business is relationships. I have seen some incredible things happen in these chats, in these webinars, where people have taken the time to reach out to each other in the chat space. And that's what we want to see here today. Use the opportunity, get to know each other, look for synergies, look for connections, and see if you can find people that you are like-minded and you might want to do some work with, or you might want to talk to them or find out more or refer. Anyway, it's a new world where you're networking virtually, but there are opportunities and gaps if you look for them, and this chat function is one of them. So thank you everyone for joining us today. There's a couple more people that have just entered the room, so welcome. So yes, like I said, I can't verbally hear you, but I read the chat throughout this session. So for me, it's really important that you use that so I can understand a little bit more about your needs. Today we are going to talk about how to develop an online sales strategy. A lot of people are here to understand a little bit more about how they can do it. Maybe you already know how to do it and you want to pick up one or two little extra hints or tips. Hopefully I can provide something for you that's really useful for you and your business today. Today is brought to you by ASBAS Digital Solutions. ASBAS stands for the Australian Small Business Advisory Services. It's a digital advisory service providing direct education and mentorship from digital experts to assist Australian small business to build their digital capability. As part of this program, and many of you, well, probably most of you are here because of that, you'll receive a series of workshops that are either in your local area, not at the moment due to COVID-19, but they are all online, which is fantastic. 2 hours of tailored mentoring and access to some fantastic online webinar and material. Just saying hello to a few people while we wait. Susan, Mark and Susan, so they're author, artist, guest speakers working in the community school and corporate sector. Hello to Lynette, hello to Belinda, Marg, Kelsey. Wow, there's some great, interesting, diverse businesses in here. This is really great. Evie, who's a marketing manager for 2 different businesses. Amber, founder of Second Steps, we provide support to communities. Fantastic. I think you've been in one of my sessions before, Amber, because you have a really, fantastic model there. I remember leaving last session understanding a lot more about you, which is great. Excellent. All right, so I'll drop in and out of the chat, but I really want to, I understand everyone's time is precious and I don't want to waste it, so let's keep moving along. Just want to let you know that through ASBAS there is additional mentoring. So if you've already used your 2 hours of mentoring, an additional 2 hours is available to assist members. So if you have an eligible ABN, you get a combine of up to 4 hours of mentoring. The cost is $25 for 2 hours, that's it. You can select any of the program mentors. Head to digitalsolutionsmentoring.com.au to find out more. It is subject to availability. I am one of the mentors, and I'm going to say that I don't have much space left for 2020. So if you are interested, and even if you've never had a mentor before, you know, some of the sessions that I have, some people just want to talk. They want to have someone to push an idea with, or they might be a bit lost or confused or not sure what to do, or it's an incredibly supportive, non-judgmental space where you can really either triage an existing problem or just bounce an idea around. I take great pride in being part of this program, because I think the small medium enterprise space in Australian business is vital and vibrant, and we have got a great future ahead of us. So please participate in it if you have. It's the barrier to enter is very, very low, and you get so much out of it. All right, so just a little bit about me. My name's Lee. I'm the Managing Director of a business called the Trio Agency. We're based in Kyneton, Victoria, but we work globally. We've been a remote business for almost 5 years. And as someone said to me recently, perhaps we were some trailblazers in this space, that we're working remotely and working from home was always the norm for us. And so yes, that's what we do. We do creative consultancy. We build products and technology. I'm a business and brand strategist, and I have 20+ years. I'm a mentor with creative, corporate, and digital expertise. If you go to my LinkedIn, you'll sort of see my background, that I've worked for everyone from the Lord Mayor of Melbourne to heads of government to working on Hollywood feature films, right through to working at grassroots activist stuff as well. So very diverse background. So let's talk about why we're here today. Online sales, what is it? So it's selling products or services through an online digital platform. So thank you for shopping with us online. This is pretty much where we are at the moment. Oh, hello from a fellow Kyneton person here, Jim Kilsby. Just wanted to quickly check who's here. Keep introducing yourself. Looking forward to reading through these as well. So we're here because we want to sell online. And I think one of the most difficult things that people find about selling online is that they want to be found. And it's about relevance and being found, that it's really hard, particularly in a noisy online space. It can be very, very difficult. So hopefully through this session, we can give you some hints and tips about the way you can actually go about doing that. Part of it is developing a strategy. And what is it? So a strategy in itself is a plan or a methodology about how customers can find you and shop from your business online. One of the number one things that I tell people is that you don't have to be on every single digital platform to have an online sales strategy. I'll give you an example. My best friend's niece is a makeup artist. She is, she's young, she's in her early 20s, and she has a very, very, very large Instagram following. She built her business by taking pictures of her work and putting it online through Instagram. That was part of her strategy, was showcasing her work, showcasing her personality, and showcasing the types of clients that she offers. So it's not just bridal or editorial. She does, makeup for every day. She does makeup for corporates who need headshots. She does the whole lot. So she, as part of her online sales strategy, she used Instagram to showcase her work. It's hard to do what she does, because doing a full face of makeup takes hours and hours to take one photo. But it is part of her sales strategy, and she knows that it is vital for her business. But she's not on 50 platforms, she's on one. She's on one platform. That is all she needs. So when we talk about an online sales strategy, you may not need to be on everything. So take a deep breath, sit back, and we can pick apart what might be the right platform for you to support your online sales strategy. But I know a lot of people freak out going, oh, I need Instagram and I need Facebook and I need a website. No, should I be on TikTok? Do I need an EDM? What do I need? Take a deep breath. You might need only one or two, and maybe only one, and just to do that very, very well. That is what we're aiming to achieve here. And what is the strategy behind it? What is the plan behind it? So has anyone seen what a digital sales funnel looks like? I wanted to show you this because marketing is not about sales. Marketing is about awareness primarily. So this is a graphic, and it's from Zebra Marketing Solutions. I really wanted to show you this. The top of the funnel is where people start becoming aware of who you are and what your business is. In a typical environment where it's not digital, it could be like word of mouth. Awareness is where people say, oh, they'll say, do you know someone who can lay concrete, or do you know someone who can tutor my son? That this is the awareness space. Online, this is where things like the primary tools that you would use for this is content marketing. So it could be things like an email or a blog, social media, paid advertisement, SEO and SEM, and public relations. That's the top of the funnel. This is where people start understanding a little bit about who you are. So social media is the top. Interest. So this is where people go, yeah, I probably do need to get a tutor for my daughter. She sort of struggled a bit during lockdowns and maybe she needs some tutoring. This is where they start interest. So they might start subscribing to your newsletter, or they might look at case studies or tools, or they might be looking at your landing page or your website. Then it moves into the next stage, which is the opportunity. They go, yeah, okay, well, let me look further into that. Like, how much is it going to cost me? How do I know it? The tools that you would use is sales page, or a free consultation, or a trust sign, or promotion, or free trials, demos, emails, etc. One of the things that we do in our business is, if people make inquiries about us, I usually say things like, well, I'd love to have a chat with you to understand more about your problem. Are you up for a quick Zoom call and we have a meeting? And I usually give 30 minutes to an hour of my time free for some of these businesses because it builds trust. So I jump straight to that decision space. So they found me through something, word of awareness, and then they're interested. And then the next bit is the action. The final bit is the action. This is where they put things in their shopping cart, or they leave a review or referral, or they make a payment on my online payment system. So this is a digital sales funnel, and it's really important to understand the process and the decisions that customers make in order to find you, because this is how you can actually develop an online strategy. Just want to let you know that these slides are available, so you can get these through Melbourne Innovation. So you can either take a screenshot now of this, but it will be sent to you, or you can actually access it. So don't worry about it. Welcome, Hannah. No apologies for being late. I think you'll be able to get some catch up on this as well. Hoping that I can give you all some insights here. So, moving along. Before you market, first decide where to sell. Where will your product or service be sold? How will customers pay for the product? How will you distribute your product or service, and how will you price your product and service? So these are general business questions, as well as how you do things before you market. So if you're looking at an e-commerce platform, for example, where you're actually selling a product, you need to make these decisions beforehand. If you're a service-based business, you might say, well, my consulting hour might be $100 an hour or $200 an hour, whatever it is that you do. You need to look at how customers will pay for that. So in my consulting business, what we do is we invoice people, and they have to pay before they get my time. And that will be and we distribute products at the moment through Zoom. A lot of health and fitness people are doing similar things. So you book online and you pay online, and then you get sent a link to the session through like an email to do that. So before you even start understanding your strategy, understand your business process a little bit. How will it be sold? How are you going to actually reach people? Some of it could just be, look, I'm interested in, I just noticed that there's someone that does stone walling. It could be that, your marketing strategy might be using a visual medium like Instagram or a website, but they actually need to make a phone call with you to book, and then they'll pay that way. So it's going to be different for every business, but it's really important to understand that you need to understand your own process before you actually before you start your own strategy there. So let's talk a little bit about the types of platforms that you can have. And this is particularly for online sales. You might have your own e-commerce website. So this is, you might have your own custom built website. It might be a WordPress website that has inbuilt e-commerce. So, you know, if you go to something like ASOS or, you know, large retailers like Kmart, they have their own e-commerce website. So they have a team of developers and front end and back end developers making the e-commerce magic happen. If you look at third-party e-commerce websites, you can look at SquareUp or Shopify. They are fantastic, easy to use e-commerce stores. You might have a website that might be something like a Squarespace. Squarespace has its own inbuilt e-commerce as well. A lot of, and Wix too, but it's really, but they're the third-party ones. The best ones are Shopify and Square. So if you're selling a product or service directly, there's some pretty good ones to go with. Lynette, the question is, if you're not on social media, how do you market yourself? Well, there's different ways. It really depends on what your business is. Social media is not for everyone. So I'll give you an example. One of our clients is in the industrial agricultural space, and the decision makers for their sales are the tradespeople, and they're not on Instagram and they're not on Facebook. So the way that they reach their business is most people, if they're looking, it's either through relationships. So they have relationships where someone will refer work to them, but it's really about having a strong digital presence where people are able to find them. So looking for keywords. So if people are looking for them, like it might be industrial concreting, those would be the keywords. Having a Google presence, so a Google My Business profile is part of their online sales strategy. So, and then people will go to their website to trust and verify that the business is who they say they are, and then people would make the call. So it isn't always about social media. You need to also understand who your customer is and where your customer is actually going to be. I hope that makes sense, Lynette. So there's other types of platforms. If you're selling products and services, products particularly, sorry, you can, other existing online marketplaces might save you building your own website. So you might recognize some of these. There's eBay, there's Etsy, there's Amazon, Graze Online, catch.com.au and mydeal.com.au. Who's purchased from any of these websites before? I've used all of them. So one of the great things about Etsy is you can find some beautiful independent designers and people who make really unique, interesting things, and you just purchase directly from Etsy. And then the seller gives a portion of their sales price to Etsy for hosting that. There is always a cost. So eBay's, yeah, Hannah's saying she's used eBay. I just bought some really cool things on eBay recently. We're renovating our house like a lot of people are doing during COVID. And I just couldn't find, the thing that I couldn't find, which was really hard to find, is we've put some new tiles in our bathroom, and the heating covers for our ducted heating vent, we couldn't get the right color from anyone. And then I went to eBay and they had thousands. So we bought these really fantastic things from eBay. So I was able to find the seller that way. And then I've contacted the seller directly for other colors that I need for different flooring spaces in my house. So I built a relationship with the seller independently of eBay, but I found them on eBay. It is so easy to get lost. Yes, absolutely. And this is the thing. The online space is a challenge, and I'm not going to pretend that this is easy. There is a lot of noise out there. The one thing that you need to think about with your product is relevance. It is not always about differentiating yourself from other people, saying, you know, because there's always going to be other dog walkers and other dry stone walling, and there's always going to be other people doing this. What you need to remember is that you need to be relevant to your customer, and that's how people do it. Jim's just asked a quick question, which is, how do you manage all the connections with online inquiries through the multiple platforms? I'm struggling to keep up. This is a common problem, very, very common. I know that some people who work in the health industry have been really, like health and wellbeing industries have been really struggling with this when you've got to do hundreds of emails. So correspondence is time consuming. It is really about factoring it into your day and making priorities about who gets the bait. It would be interesting, how many platforms are we talking, Jim? I might just park that, but what we'll do is any of these sort of other questions, I'd love to answer them all at the end as well, just so we can give them the time and breadth. But yeah, managing all the connections with online inquiries as well as engagement on social media, it's full time. It's a lot of work. And this is something that people don't realize when they, I just suggest doing one thing really, really well and seeing if it works. And if it doesn't work, trying something else. Here's a great big myth. Yeah, automation, that's what it is, Amber. Automation through your CRM and your emails is very important. Does everyone remember that Kevin Costner movie, Build It and They Will Come? Does everyone remember that? It's a myth. It's an absolute myth. If you build a website, it does not mean you're going to get customers. If you set up a social media account through Instagram or Facebook, it does not mean people will find you. It's highly likely that you will invest a lot of time and get very little reward unless you do all the other things relating to building a strategy around it. Yep, Field of Dreams, that's exactly what it is. It's a great film, but with digital marketing, it's a myth. You can't just build it, and you've got to do the work behind it. So how do your customers know you exist? So let's go back to the funnel. So you've built this beautiful website and you've invested in photography and you've got this great e-commerce integration, and you've got like Salesforce behind it. You've got all this power there, but no one knows who you are. So what do you need to do? So let's talk about it. Lead generation. You need people to start understanding who you are. Content marketing, social media, paid advertisements, SEO, public relations. So some of the easy ways to do this is social. So if you've got a social account, use targeted hashtags, really pin the problem. So I follow hashtags relating to a number of different things. So things that interest my clients, I'll follow the hashtag so I'm inspired by what's out there and I can see how I might be able to help them. Hashtags around like health and fitness, because they're things that interest me. Things that are about my children, I follow those hashtags. I am not unique. People who use social media follow hashtags. So if you are someone that's not using social media very well, perhaps use social media and targeted hashtags as a way to start building awareness about your business. Make sure the content's good. Is it relevant? Is it interesting? Do people care? Just because you put it up there doesn't mean people care. Find out what people care about. SEO and SEM, look, you don't have to invest thousands and thousands of dollars into SEO. Even having a Google My Business card is really good SEO. Having people review you. So think about, again, where are people? How am I relevant? How do your customers know you exist? You need to start thinking about the funnel and where it is with a digital marketing sales funnel. So how do your customers know? So first of all, we're going to talk about brand awareness. How do you reach your intended market? So if your intended market is mums, and mums, where do mums congregate? So when you look at the statistics of women, we're looking at 20 to 45-year-olds are mostly on Instagram. 40 up are on Facebook. Younger people use different other platforms as well, like TikTok, but you can build brand awareness through that. So brand engagement and interest. Well, how do you make what you do important to what your audience wants to do, do, or have? It's about relevance. So think about where your customer is right now. So I guess one of the things I can't reiterate enough, existing is not enough. You have to be relevant. You have to be especially when people talk about public relations is about being newsworthy. Just be newsworthy, just be relevant. So if you don't understand what relevance is right now, think about what 2020 looks like. So people are at home. We've got COVID-19. They don't have access to things like they generally would. So be relevant to the situation they're in today. And that's what you would create your content marketing around. So if you're looking at top of funnel, where we're talking about awareness, where are people today? How can I engage with them? How will this be interesting to them? What problem am I going to be solving? That is the question you need to be asking yourself. Hannah, yes, the answer. Hannah's just asked a really great question. People follow hashtags. Do people search hashtags for things they like? Absolutely, they do. Absolutely, 100%. I probably follow about 200 different hashtags, and then I change my mind and delete it if I find the content's not right, and then I move forward. They work very, very, very well, and particularly for savvy users of social, use it. Absolutely use it. And look, if you have a bricks and mortar based business, or if you have a business that you want to target a specific region, hashtag the area. So I live in Kyneton, Victoria. Hashtag Kyneton, hashtag Central Victoria, hashtag Woodend, all your neighbouring suburbs, all the areas that you want to target. So your accounting firm, so the accounting firm, do the hashtags for the area. It's really about starting to target, but it's about testing it. So when we talk about a strategy, the strategy is we are going to try and target local area by using local hashtags and keywords relating to that on Instagram, and see if we can increase our following and our awareness. That is part of your strategy. Hope that helps. So let's start talking about building brand awareness, and this is kind of what we've just been talking about. There is no single tried and true formula for building brand awareness. There isn't. If there was, we'd all be rolling around in cash like Scrooge McDuck. You also don't have to have a marketing budget for paid advertising to generate awareness. People go, "Oh, I don't have a budget." I'm like, well, it's about thinking a little bit differently. Many of the most effective ways to increase awareness involve inbound marketing, social media, brand partnerships, and smart adoption of website metrics. So the question was, is Facebook as effective as Instagram with hashtags? The answer is no. It's not as effective. People don't follow it as much, unless the only way that they follow it is if the hashtag, if someone within your own, if you follow a group, a page, or a person on Facebook and they've used the hashtag, that's the only way that you can see it, unless people have their privacy settings turned down. So let's talk about building brand awareness on Instagram. This is most popular among millennials and young members of Generation Z. I am at the tail end of Generation X, and Instagram is my favorite. It's my favorite platform. I use it for not just showing cute photos of my cat and my kids, but I use it for shopping. I use it for brand awareness. I like to see what's going on in the world. I use it for culture. I use it for understanding politics. I use it for everything. Whatever interests me, I follow it on Instagram. I like that it's bite-sized. I like that people, are really creative on there. I love it. So Instagram is a great tool. It's suitable mostly for products and lifestyle services, but it's also good for B2B. So B2B is business to business. So if you're looking at engaging other businesses, so for example, a lot of my work is B2B, this is a great platform as well. Sorry, Lynette, I don't have time to go back through all the slides, but what we can do is you can grab copies of the slides at the end, and yeah, I'm sorry, I've got to keep on track. So we can have a look at the slides at the end and get them sent to you. It's just I'm conscientious of everyone's time today. I'm sorry. So building a brand awareness on Facebook. So list your products or services on Facebook and then link it to your e-commerce. So you can also buy products through Facebook, but I recommend if you've built an e-commerce platform on your website, link back to it. You can boost posts, create offers, run ads, promote in community groups, and make yourself as known as possible. Use the community that's in there. There are 2.6 billion users worldwide. Who gets targeted by ads all the time on Facebook? I click on them. I'm interested. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. If it's a good ad, you can go hyper local. You can do, women 35 to 40. Interests include dogs, hygiene, whatever it is. You can do hyper targeted ads on Facebook, and that will pop up in their feed. Really, Lynette, B2B is business to business. So Facebook, you can build brand awareness that way. YouTube, it's excellent for service-based businesses. Personal and interactive type content builds a following. So if you're confident in front of a camera and you feel that you can talk quite freely about something that you might be within your realm of expertise, YouTube is great. Using Instagram TV or Facebook Live can work well here too. So video is excellent for thought leadership. So if you're a service-based business, really positive. One of the things that I've seen a really great use of on Facebook is a debt collector. A very niche industry, but if you've ever needed a debt to be collected, they can be incredibly useful. We've used this debt collector before for a client who didn't pay a substantial amount of money to us, and I've been following along with them on social media for a long time. They use social in a way. They use Facebook primarily, and they use it in a way which is about storytelling, and they use lots and lots of anecdotes. So they'll talk about the problem that was presented to them. What they won't tell you the insights or their kind of proprietary information about how they actually collect their money, but they'll work really specifically to tell the story of how they work and got the problem resolved. And the reason that they do that, it's about relevance. It's about people self-identifying, going, yeah, that happened to me, and yeah, that really sucks when people pay late, and that's really terrible that people didn't pay in full. And it's a way for them to connect with their audience to make a decision about why they should engage with this debt collection agency to resolve outstanding debts. Fantastic. It's about relevance. It's very clear. They use it in written form, and they also use video. So they'll just sit there in front of a screen like this and say, tell a story. They'll tell a story about their business, and it's fantastic because people share it. People listen to it. They don't call videos thumb stoppers for nothing, because who doesn't stop when they see a video of something that's interesting? They stop, for the first couple of seconds, they'll watch it, and if it captures their attention, they'll stay. So it's about being relevant and engaging. That's the top of the funnel we're talking about, and it's about building that awareness. It's very rare that people go straight for the sale. So building brand awareness through co-marketing. So co-marketing is a really interesting proposition. We've all seen it. You're probably not aware of it in terms of what in sort of marketing jargon, what it is that you've seen, but this is what it is. So influencers, and we're not talking about the Kylie Jenners of the world. We're talking about, could be a local popular business who has an online account. It could be things like that. So I know in my community there's a very popular takeaway chicken joint that people love. It's a beloved sort of fried chicken joint. I've seen other people sort of use that type of the popularity of this place by tagging them and sharing content, nice content of them in there, in the hope that that information will be shared on by the restaurant themselves. And it does work. They do that, and it's a way for other people to become aware of who they are. So it doesn't have to be about engaging models to wear clothes or put lipstick on. It's about looking at the ecosystem around you and thinking about opportunities to co-market. Partnerships, so pick a non-competitive business and reach out to support each other. So if you're in the business of accounting, who do accountants work with? Do they work with business mentors, business coaches? Look at partnerships and piggyback off each other's marketing reach to help each other grow. Nothing works better than word of mouth. So if someone thinks that you're good and they tell everyone, then you're more likely to make a decision about it. So, you know, if you look at your trust circle, let's call it a trust circle, the trusted people that you get advice from in life, so it could be your family, it could be your parents or your siblings, or it could be your neighbour, it could be your best friend. You ask them questions like this: does anyone know a good house cleaner? Does anyone know of a good, like, where did you get that shelf in your shower from? Where did you get, who knows where I can get a good pair of jeans for a toddler? Those kind of questions we ask ourselves all the time. Or where did you get that? And you take referrals and recommendations. Those partnerships can be done online as part of your sales strategy. So look in your ecosystem, because people ask questions. Our accountant gets asked questions: who's a good person to build a website? And they'll say, come to Trio Agency. Or who's a good business coach? Come to me. It's about understanding who your partners are, who's going to be in your referral network to support you digitally. Do that online. Do that online. So we're moving a bit deeper into referral marketing now. I just need a sip of water, folks. I am all about asking and trying, because what's the worst thing that someone can say? No. Ask people to promote your business to their own audience. It's word of mouth. 74% of customers view word of mouth recommendations from friends, family, and professional peers as an important influencer in their purchasing decision. And that came from Ogilvy, who's one of the biggest advertising agencies in the world. Consider referral contests or rewards online to build your audience. So referrals: refer a friend to my page and go in the draw to win blah blah. Consider referrals part of your sales funnel. A lot of my business is word of mouth. It is really important to me that my reputation and the people that we work with, we can all support each other. I'm happy to refer people all the time, and have done so on our social media and in other platforms, because I think there's a lot of goodwill that can be done through your online sales strategy as well. So look at that as something to consider. Brand awareness through SEO and SEM, and SEM for those is search engine marketing. So search engine optimization and search engine marketing, it can play an important role if you want to drive sales to your online site. Consider what people are searching for when they are looking for you, and then build a strategy around it. So it could be something like just getting a Google My Business page up so people know that you're local, so that when they're looking for plumber Mildura, that you come up. Think about where people look for information. If you're looking for a plumber in Mildura, you're not going to be going to Instagram, most likely not, unless you're doing plumbing that's luxury bathrooms or something like that. Yeah. So think about where people are going to go. So it's quite possible that through an online sales strategy is, if you're offering a service-based business, it's quite possible that you might need to look at search engine optimizing to get a bit of a breakthrough. Brand awareness through blogging. So blogging's an interesting one. It's very time consuming. And you need to understand what return you're looking for in order to do that. So if you're going to blog, offer high value content on your website. It has to be relevant. Just because you think it's interesting does not necessarily mean your customers find it interesting. High value content. So high value doesn't mean cost. It means it has to be relevant and interesting and useful to the person that's reading it. Use LinkedIn for business to B2B and B2C service attraction. And consider guest blogging on other people's platforms or writing articles for high traffic publications. So I know that there's things like Flying Solo, which is a online magazine for freelancers and micro businesses. So they would, guest blogging there, it brings, attraction. People understand who you are. Brand awareness through Google. So ensure you have a Google business card. If you do not have a Google business card, I suggest you get one now. It is free. All it is just what you do on a Google card. So when you're searching something, it will be appearing on the right side of your screen on Google. Ask for reviews from customers and clients. That should be part of someone's strategies, and I'll tell you why. Google ranks popularity. So the more hits your website gets, and it's not from you, it's from multiple sources, the higher it ranks, okay? But if there's a lot of reviews under your page, Google will automatically rank it higher than others because it will see that you're actually popular, people like you. So don't be afraid, ask. Just ask. Go to former clients or customers and say, hey, just letting you know, I'm just doing a bit of my own marketing. I really valued that time that we did that work together. I was wondering if you would pop a review on my Google page. That would really help me. It would just help other customers find me, and I would really value your opinion. I can assure you, if you have a good relationship with your customers, they'll go, oh, I'd be delighted to. Thank you for asking me. Leave it with me. In fact, make it easier for them. Set up an email with the link for them to click on. If you have a Facebook page, do that too, because then if Google sees that your Facebook page has a lot of reviews on it, it will rank that high as well. So do that to help assist your rankings. It is a free way for you to get things moving through search. Consider Google Ads if your budget allows it. Doesn't always work, but just try and be relevant and popular. That's what we really try and do. So building brand engagement and interest. So this is moving on from awareness, okay? We want them to start engaging with you now. So brand engagement and interest. So how do we make what you do important to what your audience wants to be, do, or have? So understanding who your customer is the first part of this. If you are doing, let me have a little bit of a skim through this chat and we can look at some anecdotes in creating what we do. So let's have a look. So industrial relations and human resources consultancy. Okay, let's look at John here. So who is your customer? Is it small business? Is it small to medium enterprises? If that is who your business, who your target market is, you need to understand where they are right now. So understanding who your customer is. In order to engage with them and build interest, you need to think about relevance to them today. So a lot of businesses are working from home or working remotely. They don't actually have access to teams. You need to be thinking about what problem you're solving for them today. What is important to them today? So what was important to businesses in February is pretty unlikely to be what's relevant and interesting to them today. The world has changed, the culture of business has changed, the way we do things has changed. But the way that we view people is all about relevance. Like, we need to be empathetic and authentic and understand what's happening in their space today. This is how you build engagement and interest. So what we want to do is offer transparency. This builds trust and loyalty. E.g., if you say you're a green business, show it. Show how you're a green business. Don't just say, oh, yeah, we're green. Yep, we chuck the recycling out once a week, all good. Understand, offer absolute transparency so you align with mutual values and goals. So know your message. What is your brand mission? And what do you do? What do you stand for? Who do you serve? And communicate your purpose, not the sale. A lot of people fail here. All right, great, John. So John's just elaborated a little bit more. So CEO, owner, CFO, chief operations managers. So you're looking at really busy people who are time poor, and you need to go straight to almost solutions. So you need to know what your message is and what your purpose is for them, and not the sale. This is what people fail at quite a lot with marketing, is that marketing is not sales. It is not sales. You hope that one of the outcomes of marketing is sales. A lot of people say, I need a return on my investment. I'm like, well, the investment is that you now have a lot more people knowing who you are. You need to understand that sales is done by sales teams. Generally, business owner is a salesperson as well, but marketing is very different. So it's about understanding the message and the mission of your business and communicating that very clearly to the target market at any given time in their life. So right now, CFOs and CEOs, are they working from home and are they trying to manage people remotely and they're still homeschooling? What is the situation they're in? Understand who they are and what the problem is. Be consistent. Your message should not be the same no matter where it should be the same no matter where the user encounters it. And I'm not talking about saying the same words over and over and over. But if your brand promise is that you are an authentic person-led business, make sure that that is weaved in through your messaging all the time. Make sure that you understand that marketing is not a silver bullet. It takes time. You need to be patient, but you also need to be consistent. Consistent means that you don't just do one post and go, no one bought from me, this sucks. It's actually about thinking, I have to be consistent with this. My strategy is I'm going to try this for 3 months, and if it doesn't work, I'm going to try something else. But you'll be surprised that in 3 months you'll build audience and engagement if you have a strategy behind it. I mentioned this a few slides before, but you really need to know who your market is. Who is your customer? If your market is women under 20, ensure your content and tone is for them. So if you're a 40-year-old man running an e-commerce platform for 20-year-olds, make sure you're not talking to people that don't understand you. You need to talk the language and speak. And I'm not talking, speaking, youth, I'm not talking, I think you know what I mean. But you need to make sure that it's energetic, and what inspires a 20-year-old versus what inspires a 40-year-old is very different. Make sure that you use language that supports that. Know them well and keep reminding yourself of who you're talking to. So, again, if the decision maker in the house is the woman, make sure that you're talking to her. Building brand engagement and interest, you also need to understand what your offer is. The value you bring to your customer is essentially your offer, so it needs to be enticing. It's not about value in terms of the price. It is what's the value of the time that people have with working with your brand. You need to make sure your offer is highly relevant and worthwhile for your audience. What is it? What's the value you bring? Is it 30 years of expertise? Is it a warm smile with their children every time they walk in your store? What is the value of your business? And we're not talking cost, we're talking personal value. So understand that. Content and angle. Test and refine your content as you go. If it's not working, be consistent for a period and then say, that worked a little bit, that bombed, this really worked. But you need to test and refine it. Keep a track of it. If you're punching out the same content every single day and it's not working, you need to fix it. We've had people come to us and say, we've invested in a website and we've got no traffic. I'm like, well, what are you doing about driving people there? It's like buying a really expensive car and not putting any petrol in the tank. You need to put petrol in the tank, and it needs to be fueled regularly because it's about perpetual motion. And if you're going in one direction and you're not getting to your destination, you changed course, right? It's the same philosophy and the same principle. If the fuel's dirty, you need to clean the engine and start again. Personalization and positive customer experience should be the goal. So when you're thinking about brand engagement and building interest, you want people to feel positive about your brand. You want them to like you and show that they like what you offer. This is so we think about a website or social media, or you're sending out electronic emails. You want them now to make a decision to buy. What is it? How do you help them make that decision? I was talking about part of our strategy and developing our sales strategy is we take time, we spend, the investment of an hour of my time helps people make a decision about working with me long term. That is what I do. That's part of my strategy. You give people something free, you give them some value, they get to meet you and they build a relationship and they trust you. And that's part of my strategy. This is how you start helping people make decisions to buy. Calls to action. Make sure all your content has a call to action. So find out more, buy today, particularly if you have an e-commerce website. We're working with a yoga studio at the moment, and they have different services that they have. And the calls to actions, like, so one of the things that they offer is meditation, and the call to action is sit with us. Very simple, sit with us. Just welcoming, inclusive call to action. Oh, okay, yeah, I will. That's nice to come and sit with someone and meditate and share that space together. Be familiar through your marketing. So use EDMs, which is electronic emails, if people want to know the acronym, and promotions to support this. Provide product info and trials. There's different ways that you can help people make decisions. If you're a service-based industry, and you might have on your website, for free, an hour free with me, please click on this link, and you get all of their information, and then you make a call and say, let's schedule the time. I'd love to find out more about your business and how I can help you. This is about people making decisions. You've got to help them. You've got to be relevant. Think about different ways to do it. Your online sales strategy doesn't mean that it's all digital and you step away. You are still part of your own business, and you need to help customers understand ways in which they can better engage with you. There is a few service-based businesses in here, and that's why converting a sale might mean a bit of FaceTime, and that might mean a Zoom link, or showing them your practice, helping customers to close. So this is where everyone's like, well, I put one Instagram post out, why didn't anyone buy from me? Because it's a long game. Marketing is a long game. Unfortunately, it's not easy. But once you start getting some momentum and you understand what works for your business, you can quite easily help customers to close the sale. Be helpful. That's the one thing that I would suggest the most. So things like live chat and chat box can assist. I use video. I make time for people. I can't do it for everyone, unfortunately, because there's limited time in my day, and also I have to do work. But factor in sales as part of your day. Say, okay, well, I'm going to spend an hour a day doing this, or make some time to do that. And ensure reviews are easy to find. So I mentioned previously that using Facebook reviews and Google reviews are two very, very, very easy ways for people to find you and build trust. So if they see that you've got 40 reviews, they're more likely to go, oh, maybe they are the best one around. Who's used TripAdvisor before? I mean, the whole, Airbnb, the whole model is built on trust of users. And that's a way that customers make decisions. So if you go to an Airbnb, the first thing you do is like, ooh, those photos are nice. Let me see the reviews. That's the thing that happens. You read the reviews and you understand what kind of host they are, what type of experience that you're going to get. And that helps make customers' decisions. Look at how other people have been helpful. What is helpful? People show, part of their Instagram strategy of being helpful to help customers make decisions is they'll make cute little squares in Canva with a testimonial that someone did. And they'll say, we've got this beautiful testimonial today. I wanted to share it with you because working with this client was so wonderful. And, here's some photos of what we did, and here's their lovely testimonial. You're being helpful. You're showing people how you're helping them assist with the sale. Make it easy. Make it easy for them. So make the sales process as easy as possible. I yesterday tried to do something online. It's my partner's birthday next week, and he bought himself a record player during COVID. That was like his lockdown, and that was one of his COVID purchases. So now for Father's Day and birthdays and for Christmas, he wants this particular record store that sells rare records. He wants gift vouchers for that. He just wants to shop for himself. The sales process is so annoying from this website that I just said, I'm not buying it anymore. I'm not buying him vouchers from this shop because it's not easy for me. It's not easy for me to actually even buy a $100 gift voucher. I just would rather go to the shop and buy something myself because the sales process was hard. So if I have to do more than 7 clicks to get to what I want, I'm out. It should be 2. It should be 2. I want this, click, here's my details. Very simple. Make it easy for people. So not everyone has an e-commerce platform, but you might use Instagram. Instagram, you can do shopping on Instagram now. So if you've got products, Instagram shopping, make it easy. If you're doing a service-based business and you want people to contact you, so like contact me to get a free quote, or for me to come and spend an hour with you online to understand more about your problem, Make it easy for people to find it. Put it on your homepage. Put it on your homepage or put it in your Facebook. So we're offering free 1 hour. Make it easy for people. Hannah's asked, everyone's different, but I'm wondering, is there an average time you would suggest and say most people allocate to online strategy and building your customer base engagement each week? It's a really good question. Okay, so if we're talking unionised work hours where we work 5 days a week, I say 4 days should be doing delivery and 1 day should be working on the business. So 1 day on the business includes your marketing and your business development. So your business development might be developing new products or new service offerings or, yeah, look, I think that you need to have a day a week. If you're working 5 days a week, should be on marketing and building your business and sales, because without anything in your funnel, without any leads, you've got nothing. It's one of those really challenging things as well that you get to a point of critical mass where you sometimes go, oh, I've got too much work and I can't do it. But you still need to continue marketing and keeping the brand aware, because, you know, it's like this. Business is like this all the time. You're never just growing, unless you're Amazon, who just happen to just grow exponentially every year. But, you know, it's Hannah, I would say that you need to factor in 1/5 of your time into marketing and sales strategy. So developing a strategy and then executing it. So, you know, your strategy doesn't have to be a 50-page document. It doesn't. Your strategy could be as simple as, for the next 3 months, we're going to target through hashtags our local community to see if we can boost our social media following by 5% each month. 5% is a really good amount by doing 3 posts a week. That's a strategy. And then you come back and go, so I said I was going to do 3 posts a week with really good, relevant content, targeted hashtags with my target market in mind. And did I make it? Yeah, I smashed my goal. In fact, it worked so well, I'm going to keep doing that. But now I'm going to add that I want something else on it. So you know, developing a strategy is really about getting an idea about what is the best way that you want people to find you. 2 clicks it was you know, you probably need a couple more, but like if you go to ASOS, for example, if you go to a large e-commerce website, the homepage shows the sale. You know, you go there, and we're working with a winery at the moment, and the homepage, shop now, buy, like there's a button to shop, go buy this bottle. Want to see more? There's another button. You want them to find it really easy. Why do you have a website? You know, in ours, it's about trust and proof. If you have an online shop, if you have an e-commerce, like if you want people to buy food from you, if you're an online restaurant, you need to make it easy for people. Because what they do is they click away because they get very bored and very frustrated going, why did they do it like this? Like, I don't care. I don't need all of this stuff. I just need to find what I need now. The website is for your customer. Keep your customer in the front of your mind at every single point of your strategy. If you're building a website, don't just fluff on about how great you are. Why is it great for your customer? They don't care about that. They want to know about what's in it for them. Is it a good read for the customer? Then show it. Build that trust. Make that decision easy for them. So make shipping and transactions as simple as possible. I mentioned the online record store. Boy, oh boy, have they made that really hard for me. The bonus is their shipping's really affordable. So I was like, it's okay, I'll forgive you now. But honestly, offer more ways to pay. You know, PayPal is great. Not everyone has a credit card. Some people just balk at the idea of a credit card. Use different ways to pay. Afterpay is another one that people use as a way to support sales. Make it easy for people. So let's talk a little bit about the final thoughts I have here, and I've zoomed through this today. It's actually taken less than I thought. If done right, your online customer engagement initiatives can help you generate truckloads of leads and sales. I promise you it is. The challenge is that it's about time and investing time into it and being committed. I know it's really hard. A lot of people sit there and go, but I don't know what to write or post. I'm guilty of that too, absolutely. But it really is about trying to be consistent and saying, I'm going to try something. I'm going to commit to something and make sure that people can find me. So what we want people to do is pick a platform. So whether it's social media to drive awareness, but if your website is well equipped for people to actually find you and make a decision, then that will occur. We get a lot of business through referrals. But the one thing that, for us, and we're a regional business, is that we have a Google card that has reviews on it. So we rank really well, and we don't invest in SEO. It's not really what we invest in. We do it for other people for sure, but we don't spend every day testing and refining our SEO strategy. What we do is we have a presence. We offer value to people. We offer easy access. So if people want to, if they contact me and make an inquiry, so from the top of the funnel when we get to the awareness stage, and then we get down to their decision making, then I give them my time by going, let's have a video chat so I can talk more about your problem, and then we can see how that works. And I've had to test and refine that for a long time. I've had to work out different ways to do it because I would spend hours on quoting and people go, thanks, bye, because they'd be tire kickers and they're not interested in buying from us. So I've worked out different ways to do that, but it's taken time to work it out. So test and refine it. Your online sales strategy also includes video. You can actually allow people, say, book in a video call. And if you can't do it at all, do only one or two things well. An Instagram account and a website is great. That's all you need to do. Or in some of my clients, they just have a landing page. They have a landing page and a call now button. And it goes through to their mobile and they take the call. This is a lot of my tradie clients. That's what they do. That's all they need. But they use other tactics. So they use word of mouth as well to do that. So it's very hard in a COVID environment where you're not out and about as much as possible. I've got heaps of time for questions. Absolutely a whole hour if you want. I'm here to help you. Talk to me about, we just flew through that. But I really want to know a little bit more how we can help you. Kelsey, the budget for Google Ads per day is something that is personal. I can't actually give you that because I need to know more about your business and what your goals are, because Google Ads can really get lost unless they're hyper targeted. And you're also competing in other space there, but it's really entirely up to your own business. If you say we've got a marketing budget of $500 a month and we're going to spend, $100 a week on marketing, and I'm going to chuck for the next 3 months, I'm going to do ads and see what that comes back with. You can measure your ROI that way. So you need to, it's really personal. And it really depends on what you're selling. So if you're selling services or products, that might change that. Let me go through some of these other questions that have been here. Please ask me questions. We've got heaps of time. I'd really like to know more about what you want to know. Just go back here. Online edge. Okay. So Lisa is a web designer based in Chadstone, is working as a marketing coordinator for an optical group. Be great to know. It's hard with as well. A lot of web designers as well. It's a really busy space online, and marketing yourself online. The fortunate thing about what you do, it's a visual medium, and that you can take some great photos of and screenshots of your work to actually showcase that. So if you work in a service-based industry and you want to build awareness, there's a few things I would suggest. Is photography is really powerful, as is video. So if if you're a web designer or working in marketing, showcase your work, but more importantly, showcase yourself. Trust, it's one thing to see one pretty final product, but if the customer can't work with you, it's going to be a really difficult project to be on. So we really make the time to get to know people and work really closely with them. We've had designers work with us before who customers haven't liked because they're like, I can't work with them. So it's really important that you build that trust and that relationship where people know, they know who you are. This is with service-based. With e-commerce, I just want to have a look here. Samita has just, she's got an e-commerce and wholesale eco gifts, fashion and lifestyle. Let me just have a quick look at that, and then we can talk a little bit to that. So I'm going to share this, if you don't mind, Samita. Let's have a look here. We're going to go to this one. No, it's not going to work. Samita's shown one where she's got an e-commerce site, and she has got calls to action straight there. So shop the range, and then she's got a really lovely e-commerce site which has lots and lots of products that people can buy. How do you drive people to you is really about understanding who your market is. So if your market is people that are interested in ethical, vegan, lifestyle, what I would consider, Samita, is using that as part of your hashtag strategy. I'm just going to have a look and see here. Yeah, I would absolutely probably, your hashtag strategy about your products to start driving people there. So if it's ethical, vegan, pet friendly, Australian made, if they're the things that people are searching for, use that as part of your sales strategy with Instagram and start building your market that way. If you're finding that your content is not working, you might need to even get some fresh eyes on it and get someone else to maybe take some photos for you. You might need to invest in some photography. One of my clients is a photographer, and she makes a product as well, and she's actually outsourced the photography to someone else so she can focus on the product creation, because she was finding that she was producing the same point of view over and over again, and it wasn't getting the engagement that she needed in order to transact to sales. Does that make sense? So you might be good at it, but you might not be good at it for what's required. If you find that your optics on it are too narrow because you're actually busy running the business, it might be worth investing in someone to do some content for you. That can be part of your strategy. So it could be saying, I'm going to look at investing in some great photography every quarter to work on my Instagram. I'm just going to look at someone else. We've got Maria, who is here. She has Maison Maybe, which is a beautiful website. So she's carbon neutral, eco-responsible, and she has some beautiful products there. So that's a lovely e-commerce website that's she's built. I'm just having a look at a few things. So it'd be really interesting to know how people are finding it. So, and what they're doing. There's some beautiful photography in here. It's a beautiful website, Marie, and some beautiful products. So again, you've got really gorgeous photography. What I would do is be hyper targeted and hyper vigilant about your hashtag strategy and see how you go with there. And what I would also consider is maybe upping your Instagram game to go, I'm going to build an audience, I'm going to try and post every single day, maybe twice a day if you possibly can, to really start building a bit of a critical mass. Partnerships might work really well with you there. I see that you've got some beautiful photography and some other lots of motherhood in there. It's a beautiful opportunity. There's a lot of social media influencers who are in the motherhood space who would probably love to look at some partnership opportunities. So look at that as part of your strategy, and you might not be able to afford it if you're an early stage startup business, but maybe consider that as part of your strategy as well. Just want to read a few more and work with you here. So Jim, who's a local. Hi, Jim. So you do Dry Stone Walling Centre, which is devoted to teaching and building dry stone walling. Now focused on that. Yeah, so one of the things that I love about what your business is, Jim, it's a trade, but it's actually a craft. It's a real skill, and I think that because there's dry stone walling is not only beautiful to look at, but there's a real craft behind it. I think one of the things that you could consider as part of that strategy is showcasing how you do it, the practice. There's nothing more beautiful than seeing an artist at work. You know, brands like Craft Victoria do it quite well, where they showcase and do behind the scenes stuff for people. It really engages people into the practice of what it is, and that can really elevate the way people see what you do and value it without it being about cost. So looking at that and really building that leadership space for you. What your work is visual and functional. So I would consider maybe using Instagram really, really effectively as part of your awareness, and then a website. And it doesn't even have to be like, you know, a very fancy website. It could just be some images to tell the story. And driving the sale that way. I hope that helps, but that's something that I would do as a strategist to really push that through. I'm just going to answer a few more of these questions. Paulette, she's a dental hygienist. She has a dental studio and she sells products and training for oral health professionals. So where do they get their information from, Paulette? That's really interesting. Is it something that you can do some really clever and savvy email marketing to receptionists? Dental, you know, I know that we've got a dental client, and a lot of the decisions in the practice are made by the practice manager, not the dentists themselves, because they're too busy sitting chairside. So I know that that's quite often the practice manager makes a lot of decisions. So it could be about building some relationships with them through electronic marketing and directly contacting them that way. Who else have we got here? Anyone who's an artist or an illustrator, and if you're not using Instagram, you probably really need to start pushing that harder. And what I mean about that is not just chucking content up, being hyper attentive to your hyperlinks, not hyperlinks, your hashtags, and engaging. It would be good to do some Instagram training for people that haven't used it. Well, one of the things about Instagram is that it's again not just about build it and they'll come. The thing about Instagram is that the whole premise of social media is social transactions. So you have to engage with other people. You can't just sit there and go, well, I've just spent all this time doing this very beautiful grid and I've done all these hashtags and no one's looking at me. You actually have to go and find people and engage with them too. I call it a little bit of peacocking. You have to go and like people's stuff and comment on stuff and share their stuff and look at stuff so people start becoming aware of you. Your strategy is also to be strategic about who you do that with. So if you're looking at engaging local business people and to get them to know you, you need to be engaging with them and start getting them to be aware of you, making sure that when they do become aware of you, that the content is relevant to them. It is a lot of work. Marketing is not easy. A lot of people go, well, I got a Facebook account. I know how to do marketing. It's a challenge. It's constantly being aware of who your customer is and what they need. So if you're an artist or in a creative space, I would consider doing that. LinkedIn is a good one for awareness in the space as well for service people, especially if you're looking at B2B. Using LinkedIn is very different to sharing content like you would on Facebook. It's really about the business community and what your industry or sector might have to say, so consider doing that. Let's have a look here. Has anyone got any questions? let's see. I'm going to have a look at your website there, Jim. I'm just going to go, just read through. There's been a heap of questions. All right, just give me a second here. So, tricks for LinkedIn. Yeah, so I'll go. So John's question for LinkedIn. Yes, my tips and tricks for LinkedIn are: don't just cold spam people. Don't just go, hi, I have this business and I think you need it. Don't send those messages because no one likes them. I think it's okay for you to strategically pick who you want to link with and then tell them why and say, hi, Sarah, I noticed that you're the chief operating officer of this organization. I think I'd love to connect with you. I'm really interested in what your company does, and I work in this space, and I'd really love to follow along and hear your thoughts. It's really not about it's really about understanding the mutual value. Once you're aware of people and you've linked with them, start thinking about content that is relevant and interesting to them. So I did got pretty good engagement from when the lockdowns first happened in Victoria. When my partner was working from home and my children, I took a photo of our house and our kitchen table, which was full of paper and laptops and toys and coffee cups, and it was a complete mess, like most Victorian households were. And I did this post about how it was about gender. Actually, it was about gender and how the roles of women. It was how that a lot of women have been working from home for a really long time, and that how extraordinary it is to be able to see, I can't even remember my own words verbatim, but it was really about how the world is now saying how women have been working for a long time and the disadvantages that they've received. And it got great engagement. And I'm talking from, very, very clear leaders in different industries right through to, frontline workers. People saw it, they self-recognized it was relevant. It was relevant to the time, to the place, but really it was just about reflection that I've always been a remote business. I've always worked with children at the kitchen table, and I've always performed at an extremely high level. What has happened is that people's biases about women and motherhood have stopped people from identifying that it's entirely possible to do that. And it was, so using LinkedIn really strategically like that, creating posts that are relevant to your industry, relevant to the situation, the time, it draws attention to you. People will read it and engage with it. That is a good way to start building a LinkedIn strategy. It's not about self-promotion. LinkedIn is entirely the opposite of self-promotion. It is about insight and networking. It is the one place that you can unashamedly go and ask someone to be your friend. You can do that on LinkedIn. I hope that in a short summary helps you, John. ASBAS runs LinkedIn sessions. Take that opportunity on board. It is a really, really, really good session. Make sure you sign up for it, because if you're a B2B like your situation, a great way to build. Hannah's saying, I get overwhelmed. I feel like my target customer is quite bored. Do you have any tips on how to successfully market toward a large customer base and age group? Yet segment. So look at developing some personas for each of the customers. So look at maybe developing 5 personas. If you haven't done any persona work before, personas are basically making imaginary type personalities for your customers. So one of my customers might be, he's Steve, he's 35, he's a tradie, he lives in Kilmore, he's got a wife, 2 kids, loves his ute and loves his dog Pat. Steve needs help with a website, but he's time poor, but he knows what he wants. Create personalities for the people. Then with that personality, understand what their problem is and how you can solve it. What value you bring to them, but what are the barriers they might have for reaching you? Do that work for 5 different segments of your customer group, and then you can start understanding how you can be really hyper targeted. If you just Google marketing personas, there's lots of templates online. Just go find one and fill in the blanks. But it's fun. Creating personas is also about using your imagination. Who are these people? How can we reach them? What's the problem? When? And then from there, you can actually find different solutions that you can put into your strategy. So if you understand the customer and really intimately know them, you can then understand ways that you can reach them. I hope that one helps. Let's see, Lynette, I'm off social media because I got hacked at the point and took on my PayPal money. Have a great webmaster. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry about that. That sounds like a terrible thing. How to reach people if you're not online? Well, you need to actually start building relationships with people. Even if you are on social media or not on social media, business is 150%, if that's even possibly a thing, entirely about relationships. The relationship to your brand or your product or to who you are as a person who is the service provider. Make sure that you understand that it's about relationships. So you need to go and find ways to build relationships, Lynette. That will be through joining networking groups. They might be doing virtual ones at the moment, but building relationships, and then it will be through word of mouth referrals. And marketing is, there is a broad sweep of ways that you can do things. I don't recommend doing everything, you'll just burn yourself out. My suggestion is be very specific. Let me go through some of these other questions. So Marie saying, what is the best bang for dollars to build brand awareness? I have time, but not a lot of money. Would it be PR? Yeah, look, I'd say that I can't answer that as a just definitive, because it really depends on what the business is and what you want to do. Public relations is a very different beast altogether. The thing is, people go, I need a publicist, I need to do PR. The thing with PR and getting in the media is you have to be newsworthy, because people aren't going to write a story about you just because you exist. What is relevant and what is in the news today is what people are interested in reading about. So PR can be expensive, because not everything that you do is going to work. And when I say expensive, I'm not talking about outsourcing. Consider your own time and expense. So you can say, I spent 4 hours on that press release. Well, what's the opportunity cost there? Did you lose $500 because you were sitting at home writing a press release, sending it to people that no one's going to read? You've got to understand that. So the best bang for your buck is actually trialing out one thing and trying to do it really, really, really well. Getting other people's feedback on your work is also really important. We do this ourselves. We ask feedback from existing clients and how they see us and what we could improve on. We do it annually. It is really, really powerful way to understand a bit more about your business. Do you do Afterpay integration migration, as in putting it into websites? As in, sorry, this is Samita's asked this question. I do. We can do that. If that's a service that you're after, you can email me or message me after this session. We can talk about how we might be able to support you. Jim, owner of a business, and I feel I need to employ help with this, not so much to develop my strategy and so on, but more so to operationalize the work. There are people around who I can hire in Australia rather than a freelancer, which is worthwhile to do this, and where shall I find them? Jim, is this about marketing help? I reckon there's lots of people that you could, and there's heaps of people in Australia. I guess it's also about, organisation within your own business. Send me a message afterwards, and I think I can help you with some referrals if you like. Let's see, some media, yep. Oh, content, yeah, yep. All right, Jim, can you, if you message me, I'll send you a I can help you with that, because I think you're local, and I think I know someone who might be able to help with that. Let's see, who else we got? We started getting jobs to do videos and online artwork from the local libraries. Some ways to reach out to them beside contacting them one by one. Well, that's probably the only way at the moment, because unless you can go and meet people, it's really about building relationships. So understanding who your market is and where people are going to buy your book from, that probably is the only way to do it, unless you want to build something on. So if you look at, okay, let's talk about a sales strategy for authors, in particularly in Australia, but this is the global trend now. If you want a publishing deal in Australia or the United States, one of the big, publishing houses in New York City, you need to have a following on social media. That is pretty much part of it. Unless you're an absolutely blockbuster writer, you need to have a following on social media, on Instagram or Twitter. You need to have something to say, and that you already have an audience, because there is not much money in publishing, and publishers want to know that there's already an audience there before they invest in you. So if you want to work with local libraries and do things like that, you're going to have to contact them directly. If you want a broader market to find out who you are, you will need to build a social media market audience for a publisher to believe that you're worthy of the investment, because you already have an audience. Does that make sense? So anyone that's looking for that sort of publishing deals, you've got to build an audience. So anyone that is worth anything in publishing in Australia has got a very large Instagram following. They use video, they use Twitter, they use the lot. They understand that building an identity as a creative is part of their brand, and that they need to do that. And that's part of their sales funnel. It's the same with the makeup artist I spoke to at the beginning. She understands, as painful as it is every day to do a full face of makeup and take 6 selfies, she knows it's part of her sales funnel, because that's how her audience find her. So the same with publishing. And that helps, Susan. I'm going to message you, Jim, I think. Let me have a look. Yeah, it's about content. Yeah, I know what you're. It's good to see locals on here. I can put you in touch with someone locally, Jim. Okay, so we've got. Lisa's saying she's terribly engaging on social media and finds it super difficult. Yeah, okay. I think I did touch on this before, but it is social currency. You've got to actually engage back with people. And this might be something that you outsource. You might want to have creative control over the content, but then you might want to pay someone to engage for an hour a day with people, to start building an audience, to start bringing awareness to you. It is tiring. It's not one of my favorite parts of my job. We have social media people that work in our team, but it is important. It is really important. Unless you're a Kardashian, where people automatically know who you are, you have to actually engage with people so people know that you're there. If your target customer is quite bored, do some persona work. That's really, really important to understand who your customers are and why they might be interested, or why it's relevant to you. Instagram and Twitter training, any social media training, you can absolutely get that through ASBAS and Melbourne Innovation. They run some great courses. Let's see who else we got. There's great Instagram training through Melbourne Innovation, just following up on some of these questions. If you use great templates like Canva, they have great social media tools online, which is fantastic to do. Also, YouTube. YouTube is fabulous. Yesterday I had a tech problem. Even our technical director, who's quite an experienced software developer, couldn't answer. We went to YouTube. YouTube answered the question, because there's other incredibly brilliant people out there creating content to solve problems for you. So please have a look at just Google it. Sometimes the answer is on Google. How do I do this? How do I take better photos for Instagram? One of my mentoring sessions was with someone who is a grower. They have a sort of grown product, and it was really about Instagram strategy, taking better photos, just taking better photos. I'm like, you have a very powerful camera in your hand, a few tools and tips and tricks, and you're done. So, you know, it's amazing. In a year, her Instagram has exploded, and I'm so proud of her. She put in the work. And I said, and after this, go and test it. Go try it. Do this, try that. If it doesn't work, try something else. She took that one thing to do it really well. Have a look at that. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, I'm glad that I could answer that for you, Hannah. This is Leslie. Holiday season is coming up. Obviously, we can apply all our learning here today, but there are other obscure, any tricks? You're a visual artist selling prints and cards, use Instagram a lot. It's about being consistent and being relevant. That's the really challenging thing. I know when you're not getting traction, it can be really hard. I think if you're local, I think, you know, if sales is what you're after around Christmas, make sure that you talk very specifically about buying local. I know that I'm intending to buy most of my Christmas gifts locally this year, so maybe focus on that as part of your sales strategy, your content strategy for Christmas. Competitions can be bad as well, but it has to be something valuable. And what you think is valuable might not necessarily be valuable to your customer. So think about what that is. It could be a combination of things. It could be a package of goods, not just from you, but partnerships. Look at making it very, very valuable for people. And posting frequently and different things. Yeah, I'm going to email you, Jim. I'm just going to copy and paste your thing, and then we'll talk about what you need afterwards. There's some good helpers out here in Kyneton. There's some great people that might be able to get you to where you need to be. Let's see. How large is an Instagram audience for an author? Just go and do some research, Anne. Go and have a look at authors that you like. Have a look at some Australian authors. I'd say that you need to be in the 50,000 plus followers for them to understand that, because not everyone that follows you is going to buy from you either. I don't know. Hannah's asked, is there any online templates? No, I don't know of any online templates for developing an online sales strategy. A strategy doesn't have to be a really large document. A strategy is a plan. It's a plan, right? So you go, okay, I'm going to use Instagram, so that's the tool, to build an audience to 5% increase per month by doing the following things. It's a simple step. Just think about it like that. Like, what tool am I going to use? What goal am I setting myself? How am I going to do it? And if you're not doing it well, it's like, if my photo's not right, am I not sharing the right Instagram hashtags? Just pick one thing and try to work really well on it. Yeah, thank you, Mary, for recommending ASBAS. We are really proud to be part of this program. It is very helpful. It has been an absolute privilege to see so many fantastic businesses thriving through this time. It has been a very challenging year for SMEs in Victoria, but I'm really proud of the work that we've done with ASBAS and also the Business Resilience Program, which is another program run through Melbourne Innovation Centre, which has programs because it helps businesses like you. It really does. I just wanted to touch on that. If you need, or have already used your 2 hours of mentoring, you're available for 2 more. So register, go online, $25 for 2 hours, that's it. If there's no more questions, The lovely Francisco has just put a link up the top, very top. So there's, click on that. And if you've got a second, we'd really love to hear from you. There is a survey in the chat box. Can you please fill that in for me? This just helps us understand a little bit about the session. And what other programs we can help develop. This is important to us. This feedback helps us help you. The whole point of this is for you, not for us. Thank you everyone for your time and for being here, and the generosity of your thoughts and input. This is what makes them so special. I really love doing them. I love hearing about all these wonderful businesses as well. I'm going to reach out to my local buddy Jim and see if I can help him help his business, because there's some people that I know that might be able to help him. So it's really good to see everyone connect. I'm going to be here for another minute, but feel free to wrap it up. Go grab yourself some lunch, or walk in the fresh air after that if you can, or step on the front porch if you're not able to leave your house in Melbourne. But thanks again for your time. As always, it's an absolute pleasure being with you and talking with you. All the best. Goodbye.